Greetings. Good morning. 3:48 in the morning. Welcome to Evil Dojo. Dark Mage in the house. I'm here to trend ride. Start articulating my thoughts in regards to this whole fucking Elon Musk H1B Visa situation. As someone who is a fan of both Elon and Trump, not gonna lie, I don't see what all the fuss is all about. But let's think it through. Material's coming out quick and fast. So I want to get my thoughts out there earlier rather than later. It's really important to be ahead of the game. And actually, this is kind of the central topic, central theme for why supporting tech workers coming in from other countries, not just for America, but for other countries too, is a good thing. Think about it like this. If you self-limit your workforce, in the tech world especially, to just the citizens of your country, you put yourself at a significant disadvantage. You're going to get left behind. You're going to eat dust. We don't want that for America. We want America to be ahead. Like, really ahead. So far ahead that other people can't catch up. Like, think of it like this. I'm a tech worker, right? I've been a tech worker. I may not be doing a whole lot of work right now, but I've been in the industry. So what how can I argue myself out of a job, right? Well, obviously I would want to be employed, but in a world where every other tech worker is more skilled than me, I would want them to be the ones doing the work, right? It wouldn't matter where they came from so long as they had the skill. Like, country of origin shouldn't even matter. Shouldn't even be a talking point. One of the great things about the internet, from my perspective, is I'm a short dude, crab hand, and back problems. Can't stand up for very long periods of time anymore, and not really all that impressive to look at visually. Especially when I'm up in front of a crowd. I don't have a lot of presence. That's okay. But I can have that presence here in this space online. One of the things I appreciate about IRC and text-based chat in general is that for what I do have here, I can type pretty goddamn fast. And I can express myself in a number of different ways. I can blog hard as fuck. I can code. I can make music. I can do a lot with just a keyboard. And I'm just one dude, right? Like, I'm just one dude from America. So by putting myself out there, I'm actively competing with people from other countries. It's just understood, right? Like, the internet being like a melting pot, just like America, has people coming in it from countries all across the world. There are programmers just like myself in every other country. I'm not just competing with American programmers. I'm competing with world programmers because that's what I am. I'm an American programmer who kind of speaks multiple languages. You start to sift out like all the different subcategories of like programmers who do this or programmers who do that. You know, you start to filter out the cream of the crop, right? Like, even in the elite sphere, when you take two different programmers from two different parts of the world who have been working in the industry for as long as I have. I started programming when I was 10, so if you want to count that, that's 28 years. 29 soon, I'm going to be fine. I'll be able to say I've been programming for 30 fucking years in 2 years. Goddamn. MSN called me a fucking expert. No, wait. Was it Tech Radar? One of those two called me an expert. The other called me, no. It was MSN who called me a white hat hacker. And it was Tech Radar that called me an expert. That shit doesn't matter, right? These are just words. These are just labels. You don't get anywhere by thinking you're this or that. You get there by doing it. Okay? Like, the fact that you're American when it comes to the tech skill game does not matter. It doesn't matter where you came from. It doesn't matter what color your skin is. It doesn't matter what your religion is. None of that shit has any fucking bearing on your skill level. How good you are. Okay? This whole discussion about prioritizing American workers in the tech world. Like, premise of this video, this running argument that I have here is that if you're a company specializing in tech and you self-limit to just hiring American workers, you put yourself at a disadvantage because there could be someone out there who wants to work for your company who is not American, who is not from this country, who would be an incredible asset to your workforce. But if your policy states, oh, we don't hire foreigners or whatever, then you omit huge swaths of potential incoming skill that could help to bring your company ahead. Some of the best hackers in the world that I pay attention to, that I've paid attention to in the blogs, like their research presentations, come from places that are not America. And that's okay, all right, right? Like, one of the great things about being someone deep into tech is that everyone's got a different perspective. At a certain level, you're literally at the cutting edge. You're at the frontier of knowledge. You start to ask questions that have not yet been asked on Stack Overflow. You start to have to do your own research because no one else has done it yet. There are certain very difficult to measure things when it comes to the hiring process. How do you determine if a programmer is skilled or not skilled? Traditionally, we hand people resumes. Say, oh, we've done all this stuff. We have all this experience. And what is experience? It's often referred to as time spent working at companies that, um, you list off different things that you do at the company. You work there for N years, and you list that, all those different items, and that's what people expect or consider work experience to be. But this is just like a glacier. It's like the tip of an iceberg, right? Like the actual experience of going through the process of doing the things, it's often incommunicatable or incommunicable. One of those two. It's very difficult to put into words. Some of the most challenging things that I did in college required me to consume, very large white papers in order to bootstrap myself, in order to like wrap my mind literally around a problem that I was tasked with working on. At a certain point, tenacity, sheer force of will, it's kind of a measurable skill ish. One of the big problems with limiting tech workers to just Americans would be the notion of work in general, right? Like, not all tech work is equal. A lot of tech work is dumb work, literally just plugging in stuff, just doing administration, just clicking icons and buttons, just checking boxes. At a certain level, you have to actually know things. This is where you separate out like grunt work from like actually difficult, like stuff that requires management of multiple machines or being tasked with actually repairing hardware or designing APIs in the programmer case. So as you progress in whatever field it is that you happen to be in, work becomes more meta over time. And generally speaking, the cognitive skill level necessary to handle that sort of task management correlates with education level. And there's plenty of good schools all across the world. There's nothing that says that, like, even if you wanted to filter for like the most elite American tech workers, the ones that are coming out of like MIT, the ones that are coming out of Stanford, the ones that are coming out of Berkeley, etc., Caltech, uh, even if you wanted to filter for just like the cream of the crop American tech workers, you're still significantly missing out on potentially game changing talent that absolutely accelerates where you're at to a point that you could not have gotten to without having that as an option. Removing these things as options is a bad idea for all of the reasons that I've just given. Where do we go from here? The fact of the matter is, America's a melting pot created by foreigners, period. Um, even the natives did not originate here. Think about it. Why so much emphasis on citizenship? Like, are we trying to make America a better place? Are we trying to make the world a better place? Maybe making the world a better place starts by bringing a little bit of the world into our own lives and being willing to put down the walls for a moment and just accept the fact that we are all one human family and that we should all get along. We shouldn't fight. One of the things that I feel is highlighted by this whole H1B visa situation is that with many of the other previous things in politics and society that have divided the people, this thing has driven a wedge in the right wing this time. And what's really interesting is that it's a lot closer to the divide that I witnessed between liberals and conservatives when I was a kid. From my perspective as a kid, liberals were the far-thinking ones, and conservatives were the short-sighted ones. And I think, in a lot of contexts, this mostly has held true. It's with the whole meme of Trump playing 5-dimensional chess and similar things that the concept of far-thinking conservatism has actually kind of emerged as a phenomenon. I think Elon's in that camp, right? I think he really sees the bigger picture because he's operating in this space not as a politician. He's, going back and forth mentally. He's kind of like putting on different masks and what have you. But at the end of the day, he's a pioneer. He's trying to actually make shit. And at the level that he's operating at, being able to select from the world's, talent. Like if he offered anyone in the world a job, just about anyone would probably take it, unless they hate Elon, in which case I think there's a lot of them actually. But at the same time, you have to consider that what do you gain by denying foreign entry for, working in American companies? What if other countries did that to us? I wouldn't want that. What if I wanted to take a job overseas? You're going to tell me that we're not going to sponsor your visa because you ain't from here. You're going to tell me that I can't take a job over at Japan because I'm white? Really? That's kind of fucked up. I wouldn't want that. So by that logic, I also similarly wouldn't want that for other people coming into America, right? Do unto others as others would do unto you is the golden rule, but Nassim Taleb pulls out the silver rule. Do not do unto others what you would not have done onto you ends up being a more robust, a more anti-fragile way of thinking. But at the same time, I also just think it just makes logical sense. It's the same way I think about like gay marriage. I'm not going to deny anybody from hooking up and getting together, and paying taxes, or getting the benefit of cohabitated living or whatever, however the fuck that works. Um, I'm cool with all that stuff. I'm cool with people having rights in general. I don't believe in those rights being limited just because you're an American or not an American or whatever. Like country of origin shouldn't matter. I think everyone should have the same freedoms, rights, and responsibilities. And at the end of the day, maybe this policy might work, but in other industries, but I don't really think so. And I don't think we actually gain anything. It just seems kind of obvious. I don't see how anyone is arguing against this. Are people fucking stupid? Is that what's going on here? Like, really stupid people on the internet talk really loudly and shout their opinions constantly. Meanwhile, a lot of really smart people don't really voice what they think constantly or have to repeat themselves or regurgitate talking points. I just think it's really stupid, and I think people in countries should be able to take jobs in other countries